So,
boom. You know, see a Fearless podcast, and we have a new episode with 2 new guests, you know, so we have to just outstay without fear, you know? Yeah, man. Boom. What you say?
Don't know the things already.
First off, Assalamu alaikum. You'd ask me how I became Muslim or why. Essentially, from a young age, I was always been like a God-fearing person. Do you know what I mean? I always knew that there was, you know, a higher being. I never thought that we just, you know, came out of nothing and X, Y, Z. You know, the same old song that people sing.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the original part. When I was moving away from my mother, when we moved up north, I knew that I was going to be away from a very important part of my life. And I didn't realize how important it was, but I did understand to an extent, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I did, because at the time I was agnostic, meaning I did believe in a God, but I didn't know what. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at the time, I had just prayed. I'd prayed extensively, day, night, anytime I could find, I would just pray.
Yeah.
And I just asked God, look, I'm moving away from my mother and my father. I'm not going to see them for, you know, a long time. Yeah. Essentially, you know, like when you're watching like Nat Geo Wild and the lions leaving the pack, but, you know, for the first time, they have to go start hunting for themselves, doing things for themselves, etc.
Yeah.
So I just prayed for a brotherhood. Essentially, I prayed for just good friends, people that would be there for me and I'd be there for them the same way. I'd look out for them. If they ever needed anything from me, I'd give it to them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to get onto it. Don't worry. I'm going to explain the whole story to you. As seamlessly as I can. And I prayed and prayed, as I said, you know, for a brotherhood. You know, in the first 3 months, I still felt a little bit without direction, but December came around, 2022, the 12th of December to be exact. I'm pretty sure it was a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And I was
walking... man have a date.
He took no liquor, no clean.
And
alkaline.
All right, sir.
And I was going through Arndale. I was actually with one of my friends who I used to work with when I worked in retail at the time. And I'd always wanted to read an English version of the Quran, like a translation, because obviously the Quran is in Arabic. And this was a very telling story, one of the most supernatural experiences I've ever had in my life, to be honest. I didn't even know that it was actually true. Obviously you hear about it, but feeling it yourself is completely different.
Yeah.
So I'd seen a guy with a stall, you know, where he's got some translations, some leaflets, some pamphlets, you name it, it was there. And I said, I wonder if he's got you know, a little thing there for me. So I'd walk past anyway. I said, you know, as a young kid, young youth coming up, I thought, let me just, you know, crack on. You know, I clearly wasn't as serious as I thought I was. Do you know what I mean? Because the opportunity presented itself. However, as every step I took away, I generally felt like, you know, when someone's pulling you back. Like someone doesn't want you to go somewhere. You might have argued with someone, they're trying to hold you from moving. I felt myself being pulled back every step I took away. And I was like, what the heck? What's going on? It wasn't windy. It wasn't nothing. It was just like today, you know, just a calm day. It was cold though, because obviously it was December. I said to my brethren who I was with, brother, just give me a second. I have to speak to this guy. I don't know what it is. I just have a gut feel. I need to, you know, speak to this brother. It was a brother from Libya, actually. I'd gone and spoken to him. And he explained the 5 pillars of Islam to me. You know, I had enjoyed the conversation. It was actually very, very fulfilling.
Yeah, but all right, hear me answer now.
Yeah.
I want to know this. What the difference between Christianity and Muslim?
The
Quran and the Bible then. The Quran and the Bible.
Well, I can answer your first and second question the best that I can. So it's essentially Muslims believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or peace be upon him, is the last messenger, prophet of Allah, meaning of God, right? In Christianity, they believe that Jesus is God, essentially. Majority. I'm talking about the majority. I mean, individually, it may boil down to something else, because everyone else has their own beliefs. We all have free will at the end of the day, right? But essentially with Christians, they believe that Jesus is God, and that's something that I myself didn't believe in, but Muslims believe that Allah has no partners, there's no equals, there's no Trinity, there's no you know, what's the word now? You know, the Father, Son and Holy Spirit.
Father, Son and the Holy Spirit,
yeah, that doesn't exist in Islam, and to be a Muslim, it means to submit to Allah.
Okay, so when you say that,
yeah.
So you would say that being Muslim is more believable than being Christian?
Well, I have to speak for myself when I say that.
Was you born Christian?
Yes,
You grew up in church?
Yeah.
So couldn't you find that what you found in being a Muslim?
No,
No.
not in my own opinion and in my own experience.
Okay.
The reason why is because when I used to go to Sunday school, actually, I felt like I was lacking answers. And growing up, I was a very curious kid. To be fair, like any black child was. I feel like we were all quite outspoken from a young age. Do you know what I mean? We always like to ask questions. We always used to say things when we shouldn't say it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And, you know, when it comes on to things like religion and when it comes on to God, you know, how things are, the reality of life, the stuff that sometimes we try to close off and act like it's not there, but it always is there.
Okay.
That part, I can't shake it as a human, no matter what I'm doing.
But you know what I think religion is more not, it's a spiritual thing still, but it's not more of a, what do I say, it's a godly thing, but it's more like
within. It's a within thing.
Yeah, it's a, and what I say now, the thing say, go on. No problem. Go on.
Let me say this though. I feel like it's a within thing. I feel like God's within. So like when we're praying, we're not just praying to God. We're praying within.
No, all right. But like I said, we believe it's a more faith thing. Religion is a more of a faith.
So you have to have faith in yourself though.
Yeah, if you have faith, a man without faith, not knowing purpose really.
Everything in the Bible, you got to pour that into yourself or in the Quran.
No,
that's how you are a good Muslim or a good Christian.
I understand. I see where you're coming from. Of course, no, I definitely see what you guys are saying. So also, when it comes on to the Quran or being Muslim as well, obviously you know things like prayer is a big thing. It's actually
I think you are more disciplined than Christianity, though.
Yeah, I do think as well. Like 5 times a day, is it? That's every day, Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
What's the times?
So there's Fajr, which is the prayer in the morning.
Yeah.
Then there is Doha.
Yeah.
Then there's Asr.
Yeah.
Then there's Maghrib. Then there's Isha, which is the last one.
So when do you work?
I do.
So when you work, how do you fit that in your working routine?
Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you may have to make up for prayers. Sometimes you would, try to just go within the work time because depending on the hours it is, I may be able to fit in. Fajr will always be able to be because of my work.
So you can't submit that in your contract before you get the job, like certain hours where you have to pray.
Every person doesn't. Every workplace doesn't cater to it.
Don't cater to it.
Do you feel bad if you miss a prayer?
Of course, yeah.
Does it make you feel guilty?
Yeah, definitely. Because the thing is, prayer is what allows you to speak to Allah directly. Of course, you can speak anyway, but I think
I'm more give peace of mind though.
100%.
I think I'm more peace of mind thing. Like,
and one thing I'd like to add when it comes on to prayer, don't think that prayer is something that increases. It's only for your benefit. Let's say.
Yeah, your benefit. Yeah.
It doesn't increase Allah in any sense or form. It's literally solely for you and yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you do it, that's what it's for. So when you're missing it, it's you that you're hurting, not anybody else.
Definitely. It's a within thing, man. That's why I said like anything in the Bible and the Quran, it's like living by that, and that makes you a greater human being as well.
Yeah.
You get me? That's what I feel like. Like I believe there's a God, regardless. That's why I don't judge no religion, Christianity, being a Muslim, anything, because at the same.
You want to listen to the Buddha?
What in Buddha though?
What Buddha believe in?
Not really. I'm not ready to.
Buddha has something I believe in. They believe in now. They don't believe in tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel that's good. I feel like living in the now is better than living in the future or the past. Because a lot of people are living in the past. You know why? Because of the subconscious thought. Yeah. And like they say that 90% of your thoughts today is the same as last week and the week before. Yeah, and that stays on repeat. Yeah. That's why I do things like meditation and prayer. I pray.
Yeah, but meditate.
Yeah, and it's great. I meditate and like once it does, you get back. Yeah, with that, I don't think back. Now, once upon a time, I thought back. I'm thinking forward. I'm with now.
Yeah.
So I may be partly Buddha as well, but I'm not Buddha. I'm a Christian. You get me? Yeah.
I'll hear what them not believe in again. They don't believe in that attachment.
Yeah.
Anything you're attached to, you eventually will lose.
There you go. That's
so your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom passed. My condolence. But
our primo.
See, with your mom, they say you're not supposed to attach to anything.
Yeah.
You're supposed to love your mom.
Can I say something? Because I was saying that when I see my mom going through what she was going through, like when it comes to the last year to 6 months, I had to disattach.
Yeah.
And people in my family are like, I'm a Biograve, and I'm a Grant, but there was like worried about how I was gonna be. But over the years, I've been doing the inner work. You get me? I've been doing the inner work. I would say doing my music same way, but the inner work's very important to me. Yeah, I've been doing the inner work, bro. Things like prayer, meditating, and all that type of stuff. Staying focused, eating good. Looking after you have to look after. You get me? So that there set me for now. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I can't be perfect. My mom's past, it's the closest one to me.
Work in progress.
In the past, I may have lost people and it affected me different. This time with my mom, I've handled it very well as a man. I've got too much to lose. My kids, you get me? My nephews, I'm there for. And anyone around me in my family, I've grew. Like it's even my age group, when we grew, I grew them, bro. My cousins tell me to this day, they give thanks.
But they have a Bridget, and they have a cousin. You live a fire and then you have a cousin sick.
And
when his cousin's sick, he might pay all of the medical bill and everything. I try to get her to recover. And when him pass, he never make it. When him pass, everybody I call him like them. I say, yo, you know Andrea dead though. And I say, yo, Bridget, I don't want nobody call my phone because when she was alive, I do it. Your time.
There you go. I keep saying to my people, then my family and everyone, like, I put my heart on the line for my mother for the last 2 years straight. Like, I even stood on my own heart. You get me? Like, just to help her, doing all the errands, doing what I gotta do. You get me? So there's no regret. I feel like when people have got regret with someone that passes away, it affects them more. There's no regret with me.
The less time when you spend with the people.
That's it.
That's how you feel the most.
Yeah.
You never get to spend the time.
That's it. My mum was cooking my mum breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You get me, bro? Like for the last 2 years, mom's resting now, and I give thanks. You know what I mean? I'm gonna miss her. I love her, but at the same time, like she's watching over me. I feel her spirit around me. I feel it in my home. That's it, man. We come from a God blessed family, the Biograves. Come on, long time. And I say in my song, my granny and grandfather's prayers are still at work.
Man.
No.
It's like how you have generational
blessing.
You have generational blessing.
There you go. That's it. The prayers don't stop, man. It don't stop. And I pray myself. My family prays. A lot of my family are still in church, same way. You get me? Preaching the gospel. You get me? But yeah, man.
No, 100%, man. I completely hear what you're saying. In a different facet, when you come onto, I wouldn't say for me, like generational curse, but in a different way, I've seen that there's been a blessing for me. Some things that past my father came to me, let's say. Although my father was a very good man, a great man. I always say if I can even be 1% of the man he is today.
Greatness. Did you have both of your parents in the same home?
Of course, yeah.
But you know what? I can see that in you. I can see that in you. You know why? There's a certain energy from somebody when they've got both parents and they grow up with both parents. It's important. That's why, like, you see where we're from, like broken homes. You get me? And like broken homes affect children. You get me? And it affects them when they're young and when they're old. They make certain. All right. Decision making. Your decision making is gonna be different being in a broken home and a home with a mom and dad. Real thing, bro. Because I didn't have my dad in my home, but I knew who my dad was. And
that's still important.
He's a legend. He's a legend. He had only for women and all that. But is that great if you're not really looking after all your kids? You can't look after all your kids
because
you.
It's still great because
we got some great loads of great, and one of them. And there's footballers that are created, musicians, DJs, singers. You get me? Like business owners. My dad literally is a legend. Like in many ways, like obviously it may have passed and that, and but his legacy continues. I carry it on. The family does. You look at somebody in my family. And you see. You get me? But I love my dad same way, even though he didn't grow me properly. Like he couldn't. There's too many. You know what I mean? He couldn't grow me, but at the same time, I love him same way. And like I look in the mirror and I see him. You get me? And like nobody's perfect at the same time. Even sometimes being in the home with your mum and dad, they may argue. Some might hide it from the kids or whatever. But they might argue, and you might feel like your dad's a bit stressed. Your dad's going through a certain thing because he's providing. Mummy might be at home. I don't know if both of your parents worked or your dad provided.
Yeah, so you see, both of my parents are workhorses.
Oh, greatness.
My father served in the army.
I bet they own a house.
Not yet. Actually. Soon too.
Okay.
Soon too. Because of circumstances, of course. But you know, what's for you, no one can take it away.
Yeah, facts.
So what I was gonna say, just a segue, the conversation about my father and what passed him essentially. My father was a very generous man.
Yeah. My dad was generous.
Where if my dad had, say some Walker's crisps.
Yeah.
And there was one chip left.
Yeah, he give it you.
He split it in half and let the two of you.
Yeah.
Man. He's that sort of man.
Yeah.
He's the same way when he has a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Right. And I used to always wonder, in the later years of his life, why he used to be so irritable. And I realized that he never had an example of how a father should be, because his father passed away when he was young.
You see?
Meaning he's given me already way more than I could ask for.
Definitely.
Because his father passed away when he was 11, he had been shot. And he had succumbed to his injuries later on down the line.
At 11? Your dad was 11?
Yeah. And at the time, when he was sick, my dad would push him around in a wheelchair everywhere in Jamaica.
I done that with my granddad, Mr. Bargrave. Like, I was 13. And I used to walk around the park in my side. You get me? And like, he was sick, so like, it was heavy. But me as 13-year-old, I put him up the curb, walking around the park. And I done that every single week. I was 13 holding him in a casket. How about that? How many times have you heard that? I was 13 years of age. And at them times there, I played for Man City as well. And like losing my granddad made me kind of like, that was my father figure. So losing my granddad, it's like I lost a father figure. And when I was at City, and obviously I was doing well, they prepared me, they said I was as good as Michael Richards and all these other players and everything, and I was going to be the next big thing. But obviously, I lost that guidance. You get me? And I was there from under like 12, 13s to under 16s. I was taking 2 days out of school, playing for City as well. You get me? And like, even the teachers at school started to hate on me. You get me? Because I was taking days out of school. I'm coming to school with all the latest City stuff. I was sponsored by Nike. All these things, you know what I mean, bro? So I'm not just I've lived so much in this life, this one life. I'm only 32. I've been so much. I've been through certain things, but at the same time, like I've learned this discipline within myself as well. Like it's like everything grew me and made me better and made me a better man.
But I never asked you your name, bro.
My name's Kadeem, but my music name's Deamy. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, you see one thing about life. Sometimes I look at it like a video game. You see with us men, I always say that I call it the campaign. There's always something difficult. You always have to go through a road through something to get to where you're going.
Definitely.
It's never a simple cakewalk, just walk
down
the street.
Facts.
I mean, you see how there's triumph, and there's also hardship.
Definitely.
There's this and then there's that.
Facts.
I mean, there's today and then there's tomorrow.
Facts. And when you say that, I'm gonna let you go again in a sec, but like every man has to go through. You're not a man if you're not gone through. I feel like even women are attracted to a man that goes through and then overcomes it. Like it only makes you stronger. It makes you more powerful. Like we like women to be feminine and not hurt and not bruised. Why? Because that's a woman's nature. You don't want a woman scarred up. You know what I mean? But a man, we're meant to go through. You know what I mean, bro? Women are meant to be protected. You know what I mean? But keep going.
No, I hear you, man. And like, as I said, we're all fighting a great fight, man. Like, it's always going to be coming. Do you know what I mean? One thing that we're all equal in is death. Every human will taste it. No matter if you're a big politician, richest man in the world, or you're the poorest man in the world, you're all going to be brought to the same end. You know, so it goes back to what Taz was saying earlier when it comes on to, you know, how he feels about people in certain conditions. Because you don't know how they're feeling. There's people, you know, that may be disabled.
Yeah. You know why you're sorry for them either, no?
Thank you. That's exactly the point.
We was talking on that before you come.
Exactly
Was he here when we was talking on that? No. See, keep going on.
Yeah. So exactly, and as you said, there's people that they're in that position. You might sit there trying to infantilize them and make them seem like a child. Yeah. Right. When in their own life, they're not complaining. They're actually very comfortable where they are.
Facts.
You know, it's out there trying to make things, you know, what it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time with that as well, what I would say, like even seeing a disabled person, we're able to. It's best to like look at that and see and count your blessings. Yeah. You get me?
Yeah, it's an example.
Yeah, definitely, man.
You get me? So that's how it going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, say we just say I want one vibe and I want a reason. Originally, I say, inshallah. I'm not gonna say, Deamy.
Don't know the
I'm
tips
fearless out here without fear. We don't know next one. Boom.